So, things have gone well. Things are still going quite well, I think. Few little issues. One is, I happen to be just running it just now, and I got quite a few of these gadgets set up called with root as parent, and I think I'd just like to quickly get to that here. I think, where is it happening? I was sure it was happening there, to be honest with you. But somewhere, and it's not here either, is it? No, these accept a parent, which I'm iffy about, but I feel like these should not accept a parent. And volatile panel. If not parent equals root. That, I think, is the problem. Why is it? Oh, it's because... Oh no, I was going to say, why is it that they've been working? Then I was going to say, well, that's because... No, that's simple volatile. Hang on a sec. This expands standard volatile panel. Right, yeah, okay. That one goes to alert zone. So, do some things extend simple volatile? Anything that opens a standard. Standard, standard, standard. In the recursor, snap, standard, color request, standard. Standard volatile. I'm confusing myself. I should have known I would come back to being confused when I had standard and simple volatile. Like, what the hell's the difference? String list is volatile panel. Simple volatile extends volatile panel. Volatile panel extends virtual panel. Man, oh man, I'm really piling on stuff. Sub-gadgets, I think, is a pointless thing. Standard volatile just extends gadget, right. Simple volatile extends volatile panel. Okay, well, now I begin to see it's all in a stupid order, which doesn't help. This... It doesn't really, does it? It should never. It equals desktop zone. I have no idea when that is happening, but I will be curious to see. Like, I've forgotten, basically, when a simple volatile appears or disappears. Never mind. The standard volatiles I know about. They're my string requests, they're my color requests, the snap requests now. What is it? Requests root. It's not these standard... Oh, something did there. Gadget set up with the root as parent. Oh no, I lost my thing. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. Okay, well... At some point there, a gadget got set up with root as parent. And there. The problem with that is a whole bunch of gadgets just got set up. Am I opening that window with root as parent? Let me have a quick look. Recursor, render options is one of them that does it. New. Set up window base. Then from then on, I'm all about things having a parent which is self or one part of the window. So window base is like really everything else in render options, unless it's Surely nothing in video options, is there? Video options is just a gadget. Okay, window base. Window zone. Oh. Tool button. Oh, right, okay. I guess, well, there it is. The tool button. Well, gosh. Tool button hide, yeah. I guess there's no harm in it. It gets stuck to root, so now then it gets stuck to the desktop. Yeah, the tool button, what can I say? I guess I'll leave it. The tool button's a little functionality so that you can, or I can, create something like this, with my windows. There is a little automated thing, I can't remember exactly if you designate a window to be the taskbar or something like that in the GUI, Windows will get an entry in it like this, and that's what the tool button's used for, and it just sits there hidden until that's required in root. And I'll leave it, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. So there's those hidden buttons on the desktop, but buttons which are hidden really do mean hidden, they don't do any work. So it's only when they become shown that anything happens. So I did have another problem. I found after I had come off the video yesterday, I was still plootering around with it, or earlier today, and the other problem was that the tree views had stopped responding. They have begun again because I have fixed them. They still feel kind of jittery, but anyway, it wasn't totally unexpected that I was going to get some problems. This flickering is really distressing, and can I fix it like that? It wasn't unexpected that I was going to get some problems, and one of the problems was the tree views stopped responding. They used zones generating events to know whether or not to respond, basically. It was pretty simple to fix, and it's something I'll have to bear in mind. I just made a new class of panel, or basically a way of very easily setting up a panel that it contained no costume information, which is effectively what a zone is. It's just a completely empty gadget, empty of costume information and other functionality. It's just there to do all this stuff, basically, enclose other gadgets. And a panel's exactly the same, it's just got its costume information filled in, so it has a thing to display for each of its states: covered, standard, although when in the case of a panel just gets assigned, by default gets assigned its simple standard skin to all of its states, so they just look like standard panels. Leave those skins blank and you've effectively got a replica of the zone gadget. Anyway, that's a long way of describing it, but I made it very easy to fix. I just replaced the zones with clear panels, because clear panels obviously don't override the is sensitive method. Anyway, so this brings me on to actual problems. Initially I was pleased, and I still am, with the fact that I can open both of these and continue to do this, but it doesn't really work. This is changing the project value. These have a copy of the project value within them that they're waiting for you to apply back to the project or cancel to discard. Changing this now means, watch this, it changed back because this had the old-fashioned version of this state. There are ways to sort that. Oh, I didn't do it that time. Right, okay. Oh, no, I do know why it didn't. I do. Right, well, it's going to cause confusing and, well, obviously these are unpredictable. First off, it's because my copy doesn't, and one of the reasons I would have found this confusing is that my copy doesn't really work. My copy doesn't copy all the verts properly, which is the first thing I want to fix. Even though it's the case that the verts don't need to be copied, it doesn't really matter that they don't need to be copied. At least if they are copied, the results will be predictable. Name is a string, name defined, and file. Name defined is a boolean, file path is is a string. Corner set is, I think, the only instance of a custom class. String, just numbers, floats mainly, handful of. Pretty sure here, where they're custom classes, I'm using copy methods or set methods. This is a custom class. I'm just assigning the variable, the reference back to it. So it's like I'm passing this reference back and forth. That's no good. Here, as a new thing, a new creature, what am I born with? A new project, what am I born with? Corner set null, nothing at all. I am born with colors, funnily enough, but no corner set. Now I guess that when I load, but actually function load creates a new project. What does it do with the colors? Color read. It must just discard the colors. Inside create, I'm getting distracted. Inside create, I should do color create. I should not just leave these colors. Just because the inconsistency annoys me. And all that's happening is they're being left to the garbage collection to be picked up whenever I load. You know what? I'm going to do it. I bet this gets me into trouble. np paper color equals new g color, and that's all there is to it. I will make it what it wants it to be. I think it's black and white. In fact, I know it is. I'll take this. This just equals null. This just equals null. And then create, paper color equals new g color 0.0.0, 1.0, and ink color equals new g color 0. No. 1.0, come on, 1.0. Okay, so just for the sake of it, but actually now I have to change copy from, because this knows, should I say, copy to gradient set. I am just making things more difficult for myself. copying the scale values. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, sorry, I am. I'm just taking a direct copy using the fact that they're structs. Gosh. And here, I'm not surprised I'm getting problems. Because a new... Oh god, here we go again. Corner set, gradient. It does get a new gradient set. Am I doing this or am I not? So the gradient set also gets discarded whenever because gradient set read creates a new gradient set. Man, I'm getting a bit bogged down in this because it does make me think. Read's a method to me. A function would be load. Even though, yeah, it's like load could accept a file stream. Ah, me. These distinctions, because then I can also think of another type of thing, which is about loading a gradient set given, a file name, which is something I might want to do. I have thought when I've been editing those gradient sets sometimes that to be able to save or load them individually would be super handy. Same with the palette. So it's a thing I need to think about. For the time being, I don't think I'm going to change it. This does work. I think that I'm just going to be rigorous inside project. Or at least I'm going to be consistent. And I think that the thing I need to do is say no. To be consistent. And it's just a tiny little bit of, like, if I'm going to be consistent one way or the other, I'm going to be consistent the slightly efficient way. I say efficient, it's just a minuscule efficiency. So in create, I also do want to say np gradient, gradient set equals new gradient set, and that's all it needs. Because create is about what happens if the program has just been run and there has been no project there to load, no current project. So it needs to just make a new one, and this is just what it calls a blank project. But new creates really nothing. I mean, some of the things are maybe given values, some of the ordinary things, but no extra objects are instantiated. That means I need to remember that in this function, because every time I'm loading an object, like here, actually no, I don't need to remember it in this function. That is the point of this. Loading implies getting a new object, and I know that I did that. I say I know I did that. I just know that I did it. Can I say that so clearly? Render, no, cursor, general, G, color, read is a function, creates a new color, yeah. So you want to read a color, you just use a reference. So this here for consistency, just the same with color. It creates a new instance. Save is fine, so in copy is where I need to think. corner set. Let me think for a little bit about corner set. So what happens in corner set? Just reads a corner set. Now I'm hoping I've been consistent here yet. Corner set creates a new corner set. And corner set create just does that thing. I think that with gradient set, if I remember rightly, let me look at corner set, read, corner set file stream, also creates a new corner set. Okay. Now, yeah, in gradient set, I did copy to out gradient set, and you needed to create a gradient set, right? Well, okay. So, let's say I'm going to be clever enough to, God, look at what I did. In project, I said copy from. You create a new one and you copy it from, and here I did copy to. Okay, I'm doing copy to. Copy from, I can see the sense in copy from because it implies a created object. But then so does copy to, doesn't it? New from or something. You've got to pass an actual. That could just be a null reference you pass to copy to. I think I'm going to do copy from. I think it's actually wiser. Method copy from void and source corner set equals null, and if not s return. So I'm going to kind of copy this, but it's basically corner read. Right, okay, so actually I'm going to have a copy corner, because a corner contains quite a bit of stuff. Well, it contains some stuff. Man, I just forget this. I really do. What the hell am I wanting to copy? These vertices, the paths, the verts. So yeah, the verts for sure. While I'm in here, maybe I should change that frigging name. Excuse me. Verts. Do I want to copy the paths? An instantiated corner implies the existence of the paths, does it? Yes. Splines are created such that they can just be, when they're just made blank, they go, I think it's 0 to 1. And by default these loop. Create corner, yeah. So this creates one at an actual position. Okay, well I'm going to have copy corner. And it's going to be a method to copy from. Again, so you can new, and I will not copy the path. Copying the corner will mean copying the verts, the loop flag, and then calculating the path. That will populate its own splines which already exist. I see, this is not quite consistent. This does get splines, but at least it's not inside project. Well, few of them are. Let's not talk about it. And PSG not initially, they're not, to be fair. That's the main thing. PSG vertices. Okay, these also get calculated inside path. This is null and this is new vertices. calculate the path. This shocks me. Loop. Okay, loop calculates the path. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. Read doesn't need to calculate the path. Loop there does it for it. So, this it looks fine. I need to do, yeah, copy. Copy from void source corner equals null. If s equals null, return. And so, I mean, I'm going through a lot of rigmarole for this. It's just to make the bloody copy totally consistent. And I just want to be sure. If s equals null, return. Now I need to just copy the verts, and I can set the loop flag. So first thing I want to do is say verts clear. I never figured out why this was one and the other was not. Well, when calculate path is called, it's nude. The other is used inside the recursor code itself to, well, yeah, the recursor code to store a transformed version of the path. This is, you know, the reason PS and PST have such crappy names is that they're not required for the path to function. They're required for quickly storing and displaying the path. It's just a convenient place to put them. Right, yeah, and they can be quite large. But, I mean, I don't know, is that okay just to new it? Newing one of those is really, well, you know, mainly what it contains is an array. It's just a collection of methods that make it easy to sort of faff with it. Right, okay, well, I'm going to just accept it for now. So, first vert's clear now for local current vert g vector equals each in source verts. Verts add last new g vector s x x source. Okay, right. Oh no, current vert x. What? X? Can I use X? I believe I can. And now if I say loop equals s loop, that will make my loop the same as that, and it will recalculate the spline. Not yet, sorry. Okay. Not much to a corner. just a list of verts and whether or not it loops. So I'm going to go through each corner and I'm going to create a copy corner. But first off I need to say corners. Do I have to worry about this? Nah, I mean each corner, there's nothing within these things. These things will get picked up by the garbage collection. It'll be fine. Corners clear. By clearing corners, all those references to those corners disappear. Well, you know, there may be some others hanging around, but actually none that. I'd say that there really aren't. Stuff like, you know, the selected corner could be a reference to a corner that may somehow get removed, but that doesn't really matter in a way. Oh, it's not worth going into at this moment, but it is, well, it doesn't matter in this case. It so happens because it's not that complicated and I kind of feel like I've tied up all the loose ends, but that's not an ideal situation. Anyway, corners clear for local current corner equals each in source corners. I will just say local new corner equals null, new corner equals new, oh no, equal, yeah, equals new corner, copy from source, corners, add last, oops, no, current corner, add last, new corner. All the corner set is a list of corners. Clear the list, take one from each that's in the source. Okay, so inside copy from here, can I say new corner copy from that? I feel like I should be able to say that. Oh, that's for a corner set. Yeah. What did I do to new corner set? Copy from S, corner set. Really? What is it saying is the problem? Oh, right, I can do that if this returns itself. Okay, do I want to do that? I mean, if I'm going to do that, then I have to do that across the board. No, I'm not going to do that. It's not, I mean, it's not, I'm not totally averse to it, but I'm not going to do it across the board, and It's not a thing I'm massively attracted to. I do it a bit with my events, stringing these things together. But anyway, first I say paper color equals new G color, and I also say ink color equals new G color. Gradient set, pretty sure I say gradient set equals new gradient set, and I think that is it. Those are the instances of special, like custom classes. The rest is just floats, ints, bools, gradient set, couple of colors, and a corner set. Now, did I get all that correct? Now, well, one thing is, it's not the last thing I think I want to do here. Basically, I want to re-implement the closing down of all things whenever you try and do anything. Namely, in render options, that is the thing, and it's not main zone, it's it's actually, what is it? It's just desktop zone. It's something that happens so commonly, I feel like I should make more of a deal of it, but let's just test it out with render options. Yada yada yada. Up here somewhere. There it is. First off, that can go. I know, I feel like I know that is not required. And I've got this. And I do not say that, I say this. Desk zone active equals false. Desktop active equals false. And similarly, in gradient editor, am I still doing it? New, no, I've taken it away. I'll do the same thing here. Yeah, this is a problem. This is where I get into a problem. Because this could be open from a couple of places. This does only take a copy of the gradient set. So when it yeah, gradient set, copy to G set. Oh me. This only takes a copy of the gradient set, so it's not so important that it shuts everything else down. And because this opens now from another window, I don't want to shut everything else down. There is a bit of logic, you know, I can just put a bit of logic in, because this gadget belongs within the recursor entirely. I can put a bit of logic in that says, oh, check and see if there's any other windows open before you shut everything down. I'm not going to just now. I'm going to leave the gradient set editor. Look at all that logic. Update edit panel. I'm going to leave that one not doing it. Video options, image options, just sections of the render options. I've been considering putting them back into render options. Here though, desk zone active equals true. And in new, that bit not required. This bit, that. And let's have a little play with it. First off, just see if it runs at all. I will take out the debug print about assign. Well, I don't want to leave it there because it will just build up and up and up as gradually things are assigned to root, because the heck with it. Well, suppose I could leave it in and just fix the ones that do it to say make it go to desktop, because that's what's going to happen anyway. Then at least I know when gadgets are being assigned to root. That is the sensible thing to do. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting the desktop to shut down while the options windows are open, not to shut down while the gradient, nothing to happen to it while the gradient window's open. Although actually it would, when I think about it, the logic wouldn't be that bad. All the time it's basically like, actually, when you open, make sure, yeah, actually it's easy. Come to think of it, it's easy and I will do it. That's everything shut down. That's everything opened up. That's everything shut down. And everything opened up. I can make everything shut down. I can open up this. Cancel. I can switch to gradient. I can open up this. And everything comes back to life. Everything comes back to life. So now I'm in a state where everything, okay, where everything is back to life. Why? When the gradient editor opened, okay, well now setup, let's have a little look at setup window base. It really just shouldn't do anything. Setup, window zone, X, Y, width, height, window border, all those things, yeah. What is it that would make the desktop zone active upon opening of a window like that? A thing doesn't become active just because something gets added to it. Like here, a root ends up getting added to desktop zone because, but that is just fine, it makes no difference. That I think it makes no difference. In setup, desktop zone. PvP equals desktop zone setup on. Here, parent, children, add last. And that is all it does. Why not have a set parent? Yeah. Okay, yeah, but I suppose it's more complicated. If not P, P equals root. No, it doesn't, I don't think. If node, node remove. No, parent equals P, if visible. I hate that. I really hate it. I'm going to change it to be desktop zone, and I might end up regretting it. Anyway, I don't use setParent initially. If visible equals true, yeah, it gets added to the visible or the invisible children. Initially, it's as if gadgets are created visible. And I know that in the case of that toolbar button thing. That's the, I mean, it's not interfering with anything. If p equals root, it goes to the desktop zone. Parent equals p, node equals parent, children, add last, update align values. Yeah. It's like, it's just not a problem. Or at least it shouldn't be anyway. So, I mean, I can force it, because I did just think it's very easy in this case, in the case of these gadgets which I've made for my own use, to say that bloody fixed it, now get out of town. This is still here. I bet it doesn't work this time. It worked again. That fixed it somehow. I don't like that, really. You know, it's not to my pleasure. But it's not to my pleasure whenever anything misses, and I think sometimes, you know, if it drops a few frames and I'm just really quick clicking. Okay, well, look. Let's just get a grip here. Gradient. And make the gradient like that. Yeah. Apply. Render. Still. The cursor image. I do. How many render options am I going for here? 8. Healthy. Apparently. Okay, well, it got the right gradient. It messed up this lowest part again, and I don't know why, but I will figure it out. That's the correct gradient though. Now, gradient, this. I changed my mind, make it yellow. Apply, apply. First, it didn't get it. Ah, and I know why. Okay. Right, I do need to be clever. Yeah, that applied, I can make it work. Do this. Okay. Apply that. This all opens up again, that's okay. Then apply that. Then come back to here, and there it is. So I know what the problem is here. I am copying the project to faff with it here. Then I open the gradient editor, but the gradient copies its gset also from the project. This creates a problem. Well, it doesn't really create a problem. I mean, yeah, no, it doesn't really. It means that I just make the gradient set editor work by you passing it a gradient set. I mean, it makes sense. It's kind of is better. And when you click apply, it knows which gradient set to apply it back to. The problem I imagined in my mind is, well, the gradient set that this is going to apply to exists entirely inside this. It's just something that gets, I think, newed when this is instantiated. And then, so what if I close this? Does this... Then it doesn't matter, though. There's a reference to the gradient set it gets passed inside this. So even when this closes, it'll apply it to that gradient set. This will close, that reference will disappear, and it'll get picked up by the garbage collection. Although that does mean that this... Right, that's not very good. Okay, well... Yeah, it's just really not very good. Because... if I cancel this, and I apply this... Well... it's pretty easy. I mean, I can fix it. Because if I cancel this, then I apply this, then this gets applied to that gradient set that was in here, to which this is the only thing now with a reference. The reference, disappears, nullified. The gradient set gets picked up by the garbage collection. That's fine. But in this case, like, when I click apply, I expect it to be applied even though this is closed. So what my solution is going to be is going to be, if I click cancel here, this closes too. I will make it that a gradient set accepts a gradient, works on it, and then applies the stuff to the same gradient, so that when you click apply here, the gradient's going back in here. Then when I click apply here, to be sent back to the main thing. But I'm just going to make it that if you then click cancel here, this closes as well. So you don't get a chance to make a bunch of changes, clicking apply, and think that it's worked. So to make that work, I need to do two things. But to be fair, I also wonder, well, I don't think it's actually a problem with the paper and ink colors, because they use a simpler color request type thing, like a string or a float request. They don't have an apply button. They don't store a version of the color as such. Am I thinking about that right? Yeah, no, it just doesn't work the same way. Because they're volatile panels, actually, but when you click away from them anywhere, including to cancel the draw mode options, the volatile panel is going to close. Half the time, the volatile panel is going to obscure the draw mode options close button, but doesn't matter. If you can hit it, the draw mode options will close, the volatile panel will close as well. And this will make the gradient set panel behave similarly, even though it has an apply and cancel thing. That makes sense, I think, for the gradient set editor. It's a more complicated object. So that's been a long time of me wittering about some of these changes that I'm just having to make still to the GUI. It's tedious. One moment I will get round to that hide controls gadget. But first, if I can get into it in less than an hour, what's the thing I want to sort? I want gradient editor, new, to accept a gradient. Man, I forgot that the new's are way down here. Right, it needs a couple of things. It's got G set, but I also need field source gradient set equals null. Update edit. Okay, right. That's correct. Then inside new, I say source gradient set equals null, comma, if not s return. Oh no, I can't really do that. It's me. This is okay. It can present you with a crappy gradient set. If not s equals new gradient set. Fine. And and I will just do a little thing of debug right new gradient set editor opened with null source gset. Okay. Now, the first thing I do is say source equals s. And here I say project gradient set copy to gset. I do not say that now. I say source copy to gset, and here I say gset copy to source. And in here I believe it's called copy gradient set. Copy is a field, yes. Just checking this, yet copy is a field. It gets newed when the box gets instantiated, copies from the project, has its own gradient set by that point. Wait, no, there's one more thing. And that is in this cleanup. If gradient editor remove. Now that should just pluck it out. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. If I go down to the bottom of this, yeah, self remove, that just removes the gradient editor gadget, everything in it. And sets the gradient editor reference to null. So everything, including the gset, gets abandoned. Is this really wise? Let's give it a go. So now I'm expecting to get copies of the gradient back to the gradient editor. The thing that would be really nice actually is if I finished the gradient button, because that would give me a bit of visual feedback about whether or not the draw mode option, is receiving the correct gradient back, because the little gradient button should give a simple representation of what the gradient looks like. I mean very simple, like left to right, top to bottom, colouring the four corners like the bottom and top, beginning and end. Okay, first off, gradient cancel, goes away just as planned and comes back. Perfect. Cancel, come back, come back. Actually, I love red with all that crap. Go away, come back. Go away, come back, come back. Gone. Did I cancel it or what? Come, apply, come. Oh, it worked that time. Why was that? Okay, make it this, make it yellow. Okay, cancel, apply. This, still red as it should be. The button would be helpful. Make it yellow, okay, apply, come back, still yellow. Make it red, okay, apply, cancel, come back, it's still yellow. Make it red, okay, cancel, apply, come back, still yellow. Correct. Okay, so I feel like I've got that bit of logic right anyway. Well enough that, well, again, updating the display is like the next important. Whoa, look at that. This is still highlighted. Okay, that's another thing I need to remember. No, it's not a thing I need to remember, it's a thing I need to think, why the heck did that happen? I thought... Yeah, removing the gradient editor. Why is that activating? There are things I can do. Are there things I can do? When the gradient editor closes, there's absolutely no reason. Or none that I can see. I'm not telling it. Well, there's a super cleanup in there. Window, base, cleanup, toolbar remove, and update toolbar. Huh. Interesting. Update toolbar is a function. If toolbar, yeah. I don't think there is a toolbar. Clean up, list, remove, self. Yeah, so there's a list of windows I see. Interesting. I don't know if I need a list of windows now. It's in window zone. Tool button, remove. What exactly does remove again do? Clean up and unparents. Finally unparents. Removes all the children and all the invisible children. Calls cleanup and calls unparent. Yeah, which just removes a node. It's nothing but removing a node from a list that should set a thing to be. It's like because well, oh man, I'm just really baffled by that. And that is all that happens in... It removes itself from the master list of windows. Toolbar, gadget. Assign toolbar. Man. The list is for the toolbar. Sorry, I was just getting distracted there. Okay, I'm going to have to stop because it's been long enough for me just mulling it. That's over an hour. And I'm going to have a bit of a think about why it is these gadgets are being reactivated by simply closing this. I am very, very baffled but I will figure it out next time.